Hey guys, going to do something a bit different today. I'm just going to speak from the Bible, and then I'm going to share with you some really practical things that I've learned that have really helped me and are helping me with moving to what I consider to be a next level in my life. So I'm going to share from the Bible. Luke 12:22 says, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or wear, or about your body or what you will wear. Life is more than food and the body more than clothes.'" I love that. And it's kind of made me think about, what are three really practical, common sense, but uncommon practice ways that I think that you can take your life to the next level. Things that, for full transparency, I do not have life figured out. I am not a motivational guru. I cannot hold a candle to the Tony Robbinses of this world. These are just things I'm learning. These are things I'm literally in it right now, working on taking my life to the next level. Is it always easy? No. Am I always congruent with the message? No. But I'm trying, I'm trying. And these are three things that I've found when things are working well for me. These are the three things that I think really, really help. So when I think about the message Jesus said to the disciples, the fact that line there, Jesus said to the disciples, for me is really key. I've kind of numbered these, and I've numbered them intentionally in a wrong order to kind of create some confusion and some intrigue. So the first one, then Jesus said to his disciples. So for me, the concept of Jesus talking to a group of men who, well, whether you read the Bible or not, you know that the disciples were effectively messengers of God. They supported Jesus. They gave their life to help Jesus share the message, and they were incredibly selfless. And when I think about my life, anytime things have gone well versus things not going well, this first thing I've always had in my life, and it's this concept of having what I call an elevated peer group. There's an old motivational speaker called Jim Rohn, and Jim Rohn says, "Who you spend time with is who you become." Tony Robbins says, "Our whole entire life is in direct correlation to the people that we spend time with." Usain Bolt, 14 years old, gets to go to the Kingston Olympic Stadium in Jamaica. He gets a lane. He's the fastest 14-year-old in Jamaica. And he gets to go down to the track in Jamaica to race against the then men's Olympic team. Like grown 30-year-old big Jamaican men ready for the Olympics. Gun goes off. Little Usain is running as fast as he can. He comes in dead last. Gets back on the coach. He's sulking because he's used to winning, right? And his trainer turns around and looks at him and says, and I will not do his accent because my granddad will turn in his grave. Love you, granddad. He says, "Usain, that's why we need to stop you racing against boys and get you racing against men." Because as the quote goes, who you spend time with is who you become. Elevated peer group. For me, I have this fantasy about the disciples, and the Last Supper was a brotherhood. I'm part of a men's group. I've just joined a new men's group. I'm continuously going, who do I need to be around to take my life to the next level? Who's wiser than me? Who's deeper than me? Who's more self-aware than me? Who's more vulnerable than me? Who's fitter than me? Who's financially better than me? Who's better in marriage than me? Always thinking, who's better than me? But I must stress, I've had a very unhealthy relationship with that concept of who's better. Comparing, competing in the wrong way. And that had very little to do with this elevated peer group concept, and this had everything to do with the part of me, I call him my inner child, like little me, who didn't feel seen, heard and safe. Now, I don't mean safe as in like I was at risk, because I wasn't. My mum raised me really well. But what I mean is I didn't have brothers and sisters. I didn't have a father. And often boys that grow up without a man in their life are the ones that are most susceptible to bad stuff. Highest rate of suicide generally in men is men without a father. Highest rate of crime committed by men without a father or a male role model. I believe I've got lucky. I believe I've got lucky. But I do believe that a big part of that is I got lucky because I've been guided to spend time with people better than me. Somewhere God in her infinite wisdom decided to plant the seed and the idea in me. Hey, Miles, raised without a father, maybe look at people who are doing better than you in life and gravitate towards them. Very, very, very long time that's been unhealthy. Comparing and then feeling insignificant. But you know what? I wouldn't change it for me to have been following a drug dealer around Birmingham, because it could have very easily been, that could have been the kind of mentors that I got. I got lucky. So really being really clear about who you spend time with is who you become. I am in the process of rebranding my business, rebranding my coaching business. We're going to be pivoting to specifically working with men, especially men who grew up without a father, especially men who maybe don't have the kind of men and role models in their life that they want to have. So that's the first one. Second one is this concept of identity shifting. A guy called Maxwell Maltz wrote a great book. It's called Psycho-Cybernetics. Highly recommend it. Joe Dispenza wrote a great book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. The whole premise of those books is that I've just talked about who you spend time with is who you become, but actually what I've learned is actually the shortcut to becoming a new version of you. And as Joe says, Dr. Joe, breaking the habit of being the old self is to become the new self. And how do you become the new self? How do you step into a version of you that doesn't exist yet? And you do it through something called quantum jumping. Now, I first came about this, I'm aware of identity shifting from Maxwell Maltz and Joe Dispenza, but this concept of quantum jumping came about when I was studying a Mindvalley course by a guy called Burt Goldman. And so really what we're talking about here is meditating with your eyes closed and visualizing yourself stepping into a completely different parallel reality. And what is amazing is, if this sounds a bit woo-woo, think of it like this. The greatest sports people in the world, whether it's Tiger Woods in golf or Lewis Hamilton in Formula One or Cristiano Ronaldo in football, one of the biggest things they've said one of the game-changing strategies for them outside of practice has been the art of visualization, has been the art of seeing themselves in a reality that is different to the one they currently have, seeing themselves scoring the penalty in the final before the final comes, seeing themselves driving around the track, like literally driving around the track without actually having been on the track. Are you guys getting this? So I think what I'm trying to say here, I know what I'm trying to say here, is if you want to upgrade your life, the way to do it is to close your eyes and see yourself in a new reality. Something I do 1, 2, 3 times a day is I meditate. I do a quantum jumping meditation. This is how it kind of looks, just to give you an idea. I step into a door, and in this door is a corridor with like millions of other doors. And there's a particular door. Each door has a label on it for a version of me that I want to step into. For example, let's go with an easy one to make this easy for you. Sometimes I'll step into a door. Let's say I want to upgrade my health. Now, this is an area that I found easy, but let's say health is not a strong area for you. Let's say you don't have the health and the body of your dreams. What you would do is you'd step into this kind of incubation unit with all these doors, and then you'd go to the door that has health on it, and you would maybe say ideal health version of you. And then you would open that door, and you would be greeted at the door by a version of you who is the fittest they've ever been. They are radiant, they are glowing, they are healthy beyond your wildest dreams. If for you're a guy watching, they are like ripped, 6-pack abs, muscles are literally popping, energy is absolutely incredible. And they are in the best shape of their freaking life. You spend time with them, hang out with them, ask them questions in this little room. And then what happens is this glowing light comes around this parallel version of you. And the glowing light is an indicator for you to step into the body. And what happens is I then step into the body. This other version of me becomes like a hologram, and I step in. And then all of a sudden this light kind of merges, swirls around, and all of a sudden I'm in the body of that parallel me. And all of a sudden I see my body change, kind of like Eric Banner. Eric Banner, David Banner. Oh my God, my cat is on the windscreen of my car. Hello, Bruce. That's hilarious. He's obviously hungry. That kind of freaked me out. And then I've lost my train of thought. He's never done that before. That's hilarious. And then the muscles are popping. It's like boo, 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 boo. The muscles are popping, right? And then what happens is you then open the door, go out of that health door, like you've taken you with you, and then you go back out of the main door, step into the real world, and you open your eyes. That's how you change your identity. For so many years I've tried the habits and the rituals and the routines, and nothing has ever really stuck. But this concept of identity shifting, this is going to become the core component of the work I'm going to be doing moving forward with men. This is the game changer. And then the third and final one, my cat is back. The third and final one, I know you're hungry. You're going to have to wait. I'm doing a video. This is important stuff. The third and final one is I believe you got to work your spirit muscle. I believe you got to work your spirit. Now, you know I started this video by sharing a Bible verse. I'm a Christian. Time of this video, I was baptized last year, and going to church every day has been amazing for me. I would argue some of my time I feel most certain, alive, guided, trusting, peaceful is those 90 minutes on a Sunday when I go to Gas Street Church in Birmingham. And for me, when I think about the Bible, when I think about the times I didn't used to read the Bible, for me, at its core, the Bible, like I've been reading motivational books for years, and for me, the Bible is just the motivational book from the dawn of time. So for me, strengthening your spirit muscle doesn't have to necessarily mean that you go to church or that you go to some temple, or it doesn't necessarily have to mean that. My cat on the roof. But what it does mean is you got to have more faith. You got to trust more. Jesus said to the disciples, I tell you, do not worry about your life. Life is more than food, and the body more than clothes. Who of you by worrying can add a single hour to your life? So this is probably even more, it's probably less even about strengthening your spirit muscle, about worrying less. And for me, the only way I've found to worry less is to have more faith. It's such a cliche, everything happens for a reason. Such a cliche. But you know, when I started going to church regularly, I started to really believe in that. I'd heard that saying for years, everything happens for a reason. Kind of wanted to punch myself and anybody around me that ever said it. Because nobody ever says it when life is good, right? People only ever say everything happens for a reason when things aren't good. People only ever say it when things are good. When things aren't good, nobody ever says that. People only say it when things aren't good. But you know what? Since I started going to church and since I started working my faith muscle, I've truly learned everything happens for a reason. Everything really does happen for a reason. So I want to encourage you today. Whether for you it's going to church, whether for you it's praying, whether for you it's just meditating and listening to your intuition. whatever that is for you, whatever that is, I encourage you to work your faith muscle, because it will change your life. It will change your life.